So, how is your strumming going? If it's not going so hot, I've got yet another method that we can use to really sharpen your strumming, and it's what I call big strumming, okay? It may sound silly, but it is truly helpful. Now, when you see your favorite guitar player either strumming or playing a guitar solo or something similar, you're probably wondering how they're so smooth about it. They just got such swagger. They're just playing and they're just not seemingly thinking too much about this. And the reason is because they've thought about it so much that now they get to just enjoy what they're doing. But in the beginning, I can assure you, from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Jimi Hendrix to Eddie Van Halen, they all really had to think meticulously about everything that they're doing, just like you and I are. I know it doesn't seem like that because you're seeing the finished product, but I promise you, there's no free ride when it comes to guitar. You gotta learn it, you gotta push through, you gotta learn everything, right? Just the same way that anybody else does. Okay? Now, when it comes to this big strumming, what it does is it allows us to really get introspective in regards to our strumming. It allows us to not mess up. And this is where we want to be, is we want to be able to practice this way, not mess up, have a real specific protocol that we practice each time when we're strumming. And because of that, it will sharpen our strumming skills, and then we can start becoming more relaxed as we move on, as we really get this into our brains, and then obviously look just as at ease as your favorite guitar player. So let's say we're taking a strum that is more difficult. I'm going to be using the last one that we learned in level 5. It's the 1, 2, and 4N, which in my opinion is probably the #1 most used strumming rhythm in all of music, okay? Or at least I should say popular music, and popular music would include, you know, country and pop and those sorts of things. But it's a basic groove that drums insinuate when they're playing. It's 1, 2, and 4, and. It's just, it is, okay? It's just, trust me on that one. But when we're strumming here, if we're having any issues and we're doing the leg tap, you know, where we're tapping the bottom of the guitar or whatever, if that's not helping, which it should, but yet there's another thing here, the big strumming, which basically the idea is this. Remember we talked about our arm being a pendulum. If you will, it's the pendulum on a grandfather clock. So when the beat of the song is going tick, 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 this hand should not move. It should be doing this whole time. So the strumming should be like that. Tick, 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 right? And so you want to think like a pendulum. But what happens when we do this big strumming is we're going past the strings in a big way, as opposed to doing a small strum like this, where I'll use the exact strum, 1, 2, and 4. You know, we're making these small movements. When we make these small movements, which is fine once we have it down, but in the beginning, if we do big movements, it may look silly, but what's going to happen, #1, is it's going to make you slow down because you're doing things so big, but 2, it's going to make it to where your hand has so much momentum that you're not going to make a small adjustment and go in the wrong direction. If you've got these small, it's easy to stall, which we said we don't want to do. It's easy to stall and then hit the up strum where there should be a down strum, or the down strum where there should be an up strum. We don't want to get in the habit of doing that. Even while we're practicing, we don't want to do that because we're building neural paths in our brain, and that's how we get habits, good or bad. So what I want you to do is take your favorite strumming pattern, or the one that you're having an issue with, the one that you're striving for, and I want you to take these big swipes at the guitar. Again, muting the strings is going to be helpful, but let's say it's the 1, 2, and 4 and strumming rhythm. Then what we would do is we'd do this. We'd go 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4. And tapping your foot is helpful as well. Now, I know most people, when they just start doing that, they have some difficulty because it's something else yet that is learned. But if you can tap your foot, that would be great. If you can't tap your foot, it's something to practice. But mainly, as long as you're keeping that time in your head, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, If you're counting in some way, either you have a metronome going or you're tapping your foot, that's going to keep you on target. Once you get this, okay, once you get the big strumming down, then you'll just automatically start going back to your normal type of strumming. This is almost like an observation in meditation when folks meditate and you specifically think about something and then don't and then specifically do it again. What it does is it lets you see, oh, this is where I'm messing up. Okay, so in that same way, what your exercise here is to take your favorite strumming pattern and to do these big strums until it makes sense. Also do it at a nice pace that's comfortable for you. But if that hand's always moving, you're looking at that elbow, it should always be moving. It should never do this, pause, and then start moving again. If it does, I can 100% guarantee you've messed up when strumming. Okay, so you want to make sure that that arm is going all the time, whether you're hitting the strings or not, because it's going to keep some sort of tempo. Even if you're just bobbing it a little bit, okay? Just something to keep the tempo going. But for right now, if you're having troubles with your strumming, consider big strumming and then make it smaller as you start getting it. All right? Let's keep going.